In a new interview with the New York Times, Meghan Markle said she's a dolphin, not a shark, which is hilarious when you know that dolphins are disturbingly evil bullies of the sea. Welcome to Popcorn Palace. I am Andy Signor, and I'm serious. I don't even know if you want to Google this truth about dolphins. It messed me up for a while. But yes, they are the bullies of the sea, as others have pointed out. And it's quite fitting that Meghan Markle would consider herself a dolphin and not a shark, at least when it comes to investing. See, so she still can be a shark. The latest addition to her portfolio, the handbag brand Cesta Collective. All right, now let's break this down. She's doing a huge press tour, clearly prepping a relaunch of things, and yet nothing's really being launched, but she's got to keep that brand relevant on the heels of the Colombia trip, etc. So let's go through this together, okay? Many things have changed since Harry and Meghan, the Duke and Duchess, moved from London to California. They've blown up the myth of Windsor unity, had a second child, opened up to Oprah, participated in a documentary about themselves, and otherwise became tabloid fodder. Depending on your point of view, they are either champions of the battle against a hidebound racist establishment or grifters out for themselves. Throughout it all, Meghan's ability to move merchandise has remained notably high. I'd like to see more evidence than this article provides, but I digress. So much so that in 2020, 4 years ago, she decided to start putting her money where her taste was and began investing in a small portfolio of female-run companies. The latest, which specializes in basket bags, are handwoven by a collective of women in Rwanda and finished in Italy. Meghan originally discovered the brand while online shopping. I spend a lot of time Googling. Sorry. I mean, that's literally what rich unemployed people do all day, is spending a lot of time Googling. So I'm glad she admits it. I spend a lot of time just Googling, looking for brands, to buy. Meghan said last week in a call from her home in Montecito, just after she and Harry had returned from a tour of Colombia, right off the heels of her tour. She's talking to the New York Times. When people are online looking for things or reading things, I'm trying to find a great new designer, especially in different territories, that I can exploit. And boy, did she, taking all these women from Rwanda and getting them to make her some bags. Meghan wore a Cesta bag to a dinner date she and her husband had in May of 2023 with Cameron Diaz, Gwyneth Paltrow, and their spouses. Really? Because when I looked, I couldn't find a single photo of Cameron Diaz or Gwyneth Paltrow there with Meghan Markle. In fact, I saw TMZ exclusive photos that said nothing of it. This is apparently where it came from. And you'd think TMZ would be on top of knowing Cameron Diaz and Gwyneth Paltrow are also in there, and they don't. So, yeah. Allegedly, Gwyneth Paltrow approved. Now, it's interesting because Gwyneth Paltrow actually had this bag before Meghan. This is the bag she wore that apparently sold off like crazy. I don't buy that either. Personally, I don't. But anyway, I digress. So she was out there for this dinner date, allegedly, with all these other celebrities after Googling around. Sorry, I lost my place. And we were on our way to Mexico to shoot a lookbook. We got off the plane, got our internet on, and all of a sudden, this one style that had been a little sleepy was totally sold through. And we were getting a lot of back in stock signups. We knew there had been some reason that they were selling so quickly. So Courtney did some internet sleuthing to find out that there were more sales in one day than we ever had. She wrote Meghan a thank you note. The relationship ensued. And this summer she offered to become their first outside investor. Really? Gwyneth, all these other people have been using these bags for all these years, and you went with Meghan? She will not say how much money she had put into the brand or what ownership percentage she has, but Miss Ryder confirmed it was a minority stake, so it's a small percentage. She said she realized how much attention was focused on her clothing choices in 2017, following her engagement to Harry, where she wore a bag from Scottish brand Strathberry for a public appearance. Founder said the bag had sold out online in 11 minutes. Now look, again, during that royal time, during the royal engagements, yeah, everyone was looking at, ooh, what's the princess wearing? When Meghan learned that the boost in popularity and sales had caused the Strasbourg to expand its workforce, it changed everything in terms of how I looked at putting an outfit together. She quickly realized Ding, 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 ding. I can now make money off of every wardrobe I wear. It's not that different from dressing for a role, but the role is her. Times when I know there is a global spotlight and attention will be given to each detail of what I may or may not be wearing, then I support designers that I really have great friendships with and smaller up-and-coming brands that haven't gotten the attention that should. That's one of the most powerful things that I'm able to do, and that's simply wearing like an earring. Meghan financial support is nice, but her gesture of faith in Cesta is even more important for the business. They are the only full-time employees at the company, which has an annual revenue of about $1 million. Its founders said its bags, which cost hundreds of dollars, they're like $700-800, typically produced in small batches of between 25 and 50 units. That weaving for each bag takes between 4 to 7 days to complete. The founders say they've prioritized responsible production and fair wages over their profit margin. Sure. So why do they need Meghan's more money? To do what? With Meghan's involvement, they're hoping not only to grow their bag business to make more profit, but to eventually expand into other categories and begin working with female artisans in other developing countries. Meghan's interest in investing in brands began during the pandemic, when lockdowns meant there was less opportunity to turn a paparazzi moment to her own ends. That's so revealing right there. She couldn't make money off of her wardrobes anymore and do nothing. Her first stake was in Clever Brands, a vegan instant latte company that she's markled. Now there are between 5 and 10 brands in her portfolios. I love how New York Times didn't do any research on how did the Clever Brands, are they still together? Wasn't there some drama there? Yes. She sees them as a complement to her own nascent lifestyle brand. Nice little subtle, it's coming. Investing in them has helped me line up for this chapter where I'm investing in myself. Where you mean you stole it from the Flamingo Orchard brand. Got it. Where you steal everybody else's concepts. Gwyneth Paltrow had this bag first, but Meghan found it. Sure. She thinks of her modest venture capitalist initiative as a dolphin tank as opposed to a shark tank. These are friendlier waters. No, and dolphins are super vicious. Like I told you. That's it. And they also, this article was so well researched. The original version said she was from Santa Monica, not Montecito, so they didn't know what the hell they're talking about. Look, I don't buy this for a second. So I went and I did some more digging on this because I wanted to learn about this bag company. Because I'm like, well, wait a second. Huh? Really? And yeah, these bags are expensive. Okay. They're up there. They're pretty pricey. There's some cheaper ones, like $600 ones. But they usually are $700 to $800, $900 for the taco tote, etc. So I wanted to look around. There's a Vogue article that did delve a little bit deeper into this. They've been on Goop and like these bags have been around for a while. This idea that she Googled around and just found it on her own is like really frustrating how she's presenting it as her discovery. It's not. A lot of people had discovered these bags. And they told the story about how these two women were trying to create, whatever. I want to get to the important part because it isn't hyper stylized, it can be easily taught to more women. Each woman working with Cesta makes 4 to 5 times the average national salary of Rwanda. Depending on the design, it can take her anywhere from 3 to 7 days to weave our baskets. Recently, they got a 3D printed mold of their lunch pail shape and shipped in Rwanda, which increased their weavers' efficiency by 200%. Since each woman is paid per basket, not per hour, that's more money in her pocket. In a country that's still rebuilding its economic infrastructure after a genocide, these artisan products are making a really big impact on these communities. Most of these women were subsistence farmers, so this is a big opportunity to earn more. We're really focused on making sure they have consistent income so they can manage the projects and aren't being hired on a seasonal basis. You don't want to go into a community and ask for 3,000 baskets just for one project, then leave. This isn't a short-term solution. Anyway, they go on to talk about how they can have big orders. They can go to other villages. So these two women actually aren't making as much sense. And I'm not the first person to look at these numbers. The numbers don't add up. They really don't add up given what they're claiming to pay. I went and even this person's just saying the cost that they're saying they would pay them is way, way, way higher. And it doesn't make sense because if you actually do the math to the 1,400 weavers they have, they'd be sending equals $5.4 million when they only have one. So all this didn't make sense. So I looked a little bit myself. Look, in 2018, the annual rate For the average person in Rwanda, $780 for the year, mind you. That's for the year, okay? That's not good. That's not a good look. When you do the math, I'm being generous now, 260 work days. And then we do that, we're looking at, they're making about $3 a day. This is being generous, okay? Because I think my math's even wrong. I think it's worse than this, to be fair, for the artisan farmers. But let's say it's $3 a month, okay? They're making $3 a month. So 4 days, they're making $12 a bag on $800 bags. So they're still paying them not the best wages. They found a way to go to a foreign country, a very poor country, mind you, and pay them less. It's wild. It's wild. But, you know, because it's Rwanda, they can get away with this. Because, you know, these women we don't have to pay them as much. We can pay them a little bit more, and therefore it's special. This whole thing is just creepy to me. It's just creepy to me. This whole bag, as they explained it, is like really important cultural thing for Rwandan families to hand at holidays and to give as sort of a moment for them from the mother to the daughter. And now we're like exploiting them out and working them to the bone to pay per bag so we can sell a $900 version of the bag, which I'm sure if you went to Rwanda, they would not cost that much. So they figured out a way to exploit these people, and sure, they're paying them a little bit better. I'm sure they're very grateful for the little bit of extra, but at the end of the day, they are all making way more profit. And now Meghan's going to end up getting a piece of all those profits too, because, you know, she deserves that. The whole thing's just gross. Now, look, businesses are businesses. I can't knock Meghan for, you know, wanting to create businesses. It's what everybody's trying to do. And then you hire people that a fair wage to them. But the whole thing just seems a little shady to me. And also, I don't like how she's putting this out there, spinning it like she's the business mogul. She literally did nothing. She didn't discover this basket. She's not making the basket. She didn't even like come up with the idea to make said basket and find the weavers. The other women did. So she's just always connecting herself to other more talented people. And I'm over it. I'm over it. This whole piece is just a puff piece. And I'm shocked that the New York Times even put it out, to be perfectly honest. And it was hidden behind a paywall where there's really nothing of substance to it. The whole thing is just incredibly frustrating. And now Vanity Fair and others are harnessing the power of the Meghan effect. Like, this is all a scam. She is a brilliant scam artist. And I'm curious who actually believes this nonsense. Do people even really click on these articles, though, to be fair? I don't know. But the Meghan effect of things she's selling. Look, it's all going to come to head when she releases her business. And we learn from her Netflix show and everything else how these new ventures actually sell. I'm as excited as all of you, and I'll be there to tell you about it. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the bell for alerts, smash that like button, and let me know what you think. Are you skeeved out as well? Do you believe she's being honest about these numbers? I want to hear your thoughts down below. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for more here on Popcorn Palace.